Good morning and welcome to another conversation with Mose. And as always, I pray life is treating you well wherever you are in the world and that you're one day closer to your dreams coming true. My podcast wouldn't be a podcast without a poem, and today's poem is called I Gotta Admit, and it's taken from my book, The Love Inside, available now where books are sold. I gotta admit, fear and I have become close and familiar once again. I find myself doing everything with him or maybe her. I guess I've become reliant on his presence, his opinions, his thoughts about my future. I have never felt so vulnerable to another entity in my life. I am so not myself, unable to break away from this seemingly unbreakable bond. I wonder about my life without fear in it, finally letting go of his hold on me, finally being free to be me. I gotta admit, I am scared to let fear go. And I chose that poem today. Oh, I hope you liked that. I really hope you enjoyed it. I chose that particular poem today because I really have been wanting to focus on self care, self healing, self preservation, survival of our mental state. I feel like a lot of us are going through personal changes, personal challenges, and a lot of it we're keeping to ourselves for prideful reasons, or maybe we feel like we are burdening people with our problems, so we don't want to talk about it. But I chose a subject that I feel very, very strongly about, and I was kind of debating on it, but I really wanted to be transparent with my audience that I'm continuing to build. So today's subject is called Calm Down. We are in heart attack territory. And I'd like to believe that the subject matter is pretty self explanatory, but maybe it's not for some people. And I'm really speaking to the people that are in the 40 something, 50 something, 60 something age group. But I do believe millennials and young people can practice this now so that when they get to our age that they won't be really as stressed as I think a lot of us are right now, for like I said, for various reasons. But as always, I'm going to use myself as an example. And I want to go back to 2020, which was a very, very, very stressful year for me. It was the beginning of COVID. I had lost my job. Various things were happening all at once. And I lost my grandmother due to illness in 2020 as well. But I want to say I was having anxiety attacks. Really didn't know what they were, but I was really having these bouts of anxiety. And I was having heart palpitations. And I really didn't know what it was, but I was waking up. It felt like my heart was just, it would just beat rapidly, like it was going to stop. And for weeks at a time, I was having these moments. It would calm down, and then I had to go to the emergency room in late 2020. I believe it was September. And I was so scared. I couldn't control, and I was just didn't know what was causing it. And again, I believe I was just overwhelmed, and I believe I really was having panic attacks, and I don't know much about panic attacks. I didn't know. But then after that, I started doing my own research. But I'm saying all that to say that I knew something had to change. I didn't know then, but I was having bouts of depression. serious bouts. I was missing my family. I couldn't go home to my grandmother's funeral due to COVID concerns. I have aging parents, so I didn't really want to. I'm in a different state, so I didn't want to go to Ohio and possibly infect anybody in my family, or I didn't feel comfortable traveling, which created another anxiety, getting on a plane with people and possibly getting sick. So, and then being in a relationship, trying to be all I can be for my partner, but also being very, very sad. And if I wasn't really sad, I was mad. I mean, I was just extremely mad. And I'd have these little bouts with my parents and my partner, and I would just feel like I said, some days I didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't want to, and then the jobs I would be on, I, the littlest thing could set me off. I was, I just definitely wasn't myself. And honestly, I feel like I've lived that way for a couple years now, and I didn't want to address it. I didn't want to confront my demons per se. But I found myself again shaking and still having those bouts of palpitations with my heart. And to be honest, I've seen a lot of people recently die. I've lost family members that were my age, and uh, losing people at an early age. It seems like my generation isn't even making it to 60. Like, it's really not. And it just kind of made me stop and start doing things a little differently. So, to be real transparent, I'm not going to get into my medical history and, I mean, that's not really the point of this podcast, but I have been on some anxiety medication that my doctor suggested recently. And I really am, I can honestly say it's really been helpful. And I'm not really one of those people that is a medication person. But I feel like if you need help, if you get access to therapy, medication, whatever you need to do to get to a good place. But I can honestly say that I had to make myself calm down. And out of fear, really, to be honest with you, I really fearful of death. I was scared I was going to die in my sleep because I kept having these heart issues, and I was having nightmares, and again, feeling all this anxiety, feeling overwhelmed, feeling like I had a lot I needed to do. And, I was thinking about my financial problems. I was thinking about my family, and am I doing enough for my partner? Is he okay? And I think we all just need to take a break and not be so hard on ourselves. I mean, I know that's easier said than done. And I don't have a lot of friends anymore like I used to. A lot of people that I had to disconnect from, that I feel like were toxic for me when I was going through my own anxiety about certain things. I feel like when you're in your 50s, there's certain conversations I don't want to have. I have no desire to be 30 again or 40. I really enjoy this part of my life, even with the challenges. But I want to have more fulfilling conversations with people my age, people with experience, people that can help me get through these challenging times. I don't want to party. I don't want to just not address the pain. I want to face my fears head on. And I do want to calm down. I want to consciously, and I don't want to. I feel like the medication that I'm taking is really helping, and I hope it's just something I'm doing for a period in a season in my life. It's not something I hope I have to take for the rest of my life. But I do like the calmness that it brings me. I don't feel so overwhelmed and as like I feel like I have to beat the clock. And for all those people out there that are going through, again, especially in like I say, heart attack territory, and I use that loosely. It's just that we have to calm down. I mean, we got to not let things stress us out so much and really pick our battles. And we say that all the time, pick your battles, but it's really true. And I'm a praying man. I don't do anything without God. I don't. To be honest with you, I live 800 miles away from my family, and it's hard. I miss my parents, I miss my siblings and my nieces and nephews, and it was also part of my anxiety as well, not being able to get home when I want. But because God protects my family, I do whatever God asks me to do. So if He says sit down and be quiet, if He tells me to do whatever, as long as He's keeping me alive and He's covering my family and people I love, I do things without hesitation. And again, that has nothing to do with being a Bible toting, church going person. That's just, I trust God with my life. And I try to do things now intentionally. Conversations I try to have intentionally. I say things intentionally. I'm proud of you. I love you. How's it going? I try to be more present with myself and enjoying the moments, smelling the roses and rolling around in the grass, enjoying a good conversation. And I'm also trying to get rest, learning to sleep. And I know that sounds crazy, but I'm learning how to just go to sleep. Sleep late when you need to. Learning how to just breathe. Reading a good book and taking a walk in the park. Anything to calm my soul down. I mean, I'm willing to go with it to whatever lengths. And I think the other thing that we all do, and I'm speaking to those people that are in relationships, marriages, potential relationships. Your partner is don't look at your partner as your end all be all. Nobody wants that pressure of being your whole life. And then we're devastated when they're not there, whether we lose them to death or breaking up or whatever the case is. Nobody wants that pressure of being your entire world, because again, nobody can carry all of that. As far as your happiness, your happiness cannot be wrapped up in a person, not your children, not your parents. I think you have to have that same love for yourself. And you have to spend time with you and enjoy those things that you enjoy. You have to make that time. And I think we're at an age where you can't drink it away. You can't get high enough. You can't have enough sex with enough people to make that pain go away. And believe me, I've tried it all. 20s, 30s, 40s. And then you just get to the point where you just got to face you. And it's hard. To be honest with you, for a long time, I didn't look in the mirror at myself. I literally would not look in the mirror. I didn't do selfies because I could see my pain. That's why I haven't really. I still take pictures, but I don't do it as often because I feel like I can see the pain that maybe other people don't see. You know, and I love who I am. I love being me, but I was going, and it was also again part of my anxiety. Don't. I feel like I'm not where I'm supposed to be. Um, I was reassessing. I have really, really bad trust issues. I don't trust people like that. I really don't. I've been hurt from so many different angles that I really do carry that around. Very distrusting spirit. And I'm not proud of that. But again, it also comes back to part of my calming down process. Learning to trust, and I'm very guarded. Um, Not opinionated. I don't have thoughts about anything. I genuinely don't have an opinion. I mean, I keep my opinions to myself. I really don't feel like. Um, and I also think, despite my anger, despite the things that frustrate me, I don't want to put any bad energy into the world. You know, there are a lot of things that I don't like, but I don't really, again, I don't put people down. Um, to each his own. You live your life the way you choose to live it. Again, I don't agree with certain things, Because I always, again, it's getting back to what battles do I want to fight? Because I don't like the heart palpitations. I don't like the anxiety attacks. You know, I've been in my car driving and I'll just start crying. I'll burst into tears and just literally, and that's the other thing, I cried a lot. I'm not ashamed to say as a man, I've cried. I've literally had to pull over and just get it together. And there are moments that I just get extremely depressed. And again, it all goes together. Stress is stress. Doesn't matter what form it is and where it comes from. And I think, no, I know, and I know this is going to sound crazy, but, or maybe not, but I feel like if you're in that kind of pain, you got to tell somebody. You got to jump up and down and say the words, I am in pain and I need some help. You can't expect people to know or to see that you're in pain, or because some people notice and some people are scared to ask. Some people don't want you to snap at them or whatever, but I think, no, I'm not going to say I think. I really know that you need to say the words. I'm stressed out. I'm going through. And to all the men, we're not superhuman. Unless you're Jesus himself. I mean, literally, the only man I feel like could take on the world. I'm not that guy. None of us are. And to pretend, I don't care if you're rich, if you're poor, because clearly we see wealthy people are going through changes too. I mean, the richest people have just as much anxiety as the people with no money. So we can't even use that equivalent to say, oh yeah, you got to have money, it's going to fix all your problems. I don't believe that either. I don't even pray for money like that. I pray for security. I love the money. I mean, I love the security that money brings. But in terms of buying things and wanting things, I don't think about stuff like that. I really don't. That's why I don't get jealous of other people that have things that I don't have, because I don't want those things. I don't need 15 cars and 6 houses. Why would I be jealous of somebody that has things that I don't really want? I'll settle for one house, But I'm saying all this to say that we truly have to pick our battles. And we're creating anxiety after anxiety on top of another anxiety. And I knew that I was doing it to myself. I was having a lot of self-inflicted pain. And I believe the other thing that was struggling with me was I was getting frustrated explaining it to people. And I don't do that anymore. I seek out the people that hopefully understand what I'm going through, but I don't get mad at my parents because they don't know. And you don't want to see your child in pain. So they don't always understand what I need. And then the other thing, moving to Oklahoma from Georgia has been challenging. And I'll probably do a whole podcast on the racism that I've experienced here in Oklahoma, or this part of the country. I think it's a beautiful state, but it's very, very, very different, unapologetically different than what I'm accustomed to. Living in Oklahoma has been a huge part of my anxiety that I didn't expect to experience. Culturally, it's just very different. And again, I probably will do a podcast on it in the future, or just on my experiences and how it's played a part in where I am in my life right now. And again, this is not a pity party. This is not to get people to, feel sorry for themselves. It's not that at all. It's really about being honest with the things that bother you and calming down that part of yourself and finding out what's wrong and what can you do to fix it. Finding your happiness. And like podcasting, I love doing it. I love writing. I love photography. I love all the things that I do that bring me joy, because it does calm me down. It does bring me to a good place. I love yoga. I love cooking. I love making peanut butter cookies for my partner, listening to jazz. And, I know it sounds silly, but you have to find something that calms you down. And again, I want to reiterate, if you're in pain, you got to tell somebody. I mean, you literally got to say the words. Call and say, hey, this is what's going on with me. Don't expect people to know or assume. And you call until you get somebody that's going to listen. But you got to say the words. I need you. I need this. Don't sit around because you're just going to create another anxiety. Oh, this person doesn't like me or they don't care because they don't know. You actually have to say the words that I need help. And then let the process begin. Because there are resources out there. There you just have to look for them. Again, I don't have all the answers, and I'm also a praying man. I truly believe in prayer and faith, and you have to ask God to help you. I do it every day. I get up, and I feel like if you're giving a job 40 hours of your week, you got to give yourself that same time. If you give 8 hours to something, give 8 hours to yourself. 3 hours doing something that you love. I don't care what it is. If you want to take a vacation, find a way to take one, even if it means renting a hotel room in the same city you're in and just decompressing and pretending like you're somewhere else. And again, we are at a stage where I want to live to see 75. I want to live my best life, my whole life. But no matter how long I get a chance to live this life, I want it to be the best every single day. Every day I want to do something for me. Something simple. I don't care if it's enjoying a good cup of coffee, and I knew this podcast was going to be a little bit longer than normal because I feel so strongly about it. And again, I'm not encouraging anybody to take medication, but I do say talk to your doctor and be honest with your doctor and whoever your circle is, and tell them, like, my close friends know what I'm going through, and I appreciate their support and my partner and all that good stuff. But again, I just want to encourage you to calm down and assess your life and do what you feel like you need to do. And it doesn't matter what your career is. Anxiety is anxiety. Doesn't matter where it's coming from. It's just how we choose to deal with it. And then also help somebody else. If you figured out a way to make it better for yourself, help somebody else. Trust me, help somebody else help them figure it out. And some things don't require money. It don't. Because I can honestly say financial anxiety has been a huge part of my struggle. Worrying about money all the time, just worrying about it. I just do the best I can every day. And that's it. So, sorry for the extra 5 or 10 minutes, but I did want to say also, my podcast wouldn't be a podcast if I didn't talk about all things Moetic, my Etsy store. I hope you guys come by and shop around and take a look around. I'm really, really proud of it. What I love, it's my legacy. My pictures are my life. And if you take a look at my pictures and read my poetry, everything in that store is reflective of who I am. So don't think of it as just a store that a typical, Etsy store. It's me. So if you have a piece of my art in your home, it's something that I'm really proud of, and it's like, what I love about it is it's black, the greatness of being black, and I love that it's, whether it's music, whether it's everyday people. I love being black. I love the greatness of us. So when you go to Etsy, it's my store is the best place for that. Shopping for that special person in your life, that unique gift that you might have considered. And that's what my store is. It's the coolness of being black and how great we are, and all things black and beautiful. So again, keep that in mind when you stop by my store, and I will be adding a few more things over the coming weeks. So again, I do hope you get a chance to stop by. And as always, I pray life is treating you well wherever you are in the world, and that you're one day closer to your dreams coming true. And thanks again for listening. I appreciate you.